Okay. Next, continuing with this, with dynamic NAT, we have completed dynamic NAT. So now dynamic patting. What I'll do is I'll remove this configuration. I'll remove these pools. Okay. So I'll say no. Or that if you either you can do this, you can do this, and you can copy whatever you want to remove. In case you want to remove some specific config, if you want to remove the entire global configuration, the configuration of the global pool, you can directly say clear configure. Everything is removed. Fine. I'll create a pool, but this time around I'll create the pool with less IP addresses. I'll create with this with say 100 111 and 100 11. Only two IP addresses. Similarly, I'll create a pool for DMZ, or let me not create any pool for DMZ. Also, I'll clear the NAT configuration.
Who took it? I already took. No.
For I'll clear configure the NAT, so show running. There is no translation rule as well. Okay, so we have cleared the global pool, we have cleared the rule. Then we created a fresh pool on outside interface which has only two public IP addresses available. Now, if you check the diagram, we don't have two hosts. Sorry, we have how many hosts? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 IPs, 6 hosts. How do you manage in this case? In this case, we do something known as patting, port address translation. All the hosts will be using same IP, but will be accessing on different ports. And ports, when you talk in terms of port, you are allowed to use okay, which fine. So what I'll do is create the rules. I'll say NAT inside 1 for anybody from inside, anybody from DMZ 1, again use pool 1. At this time, because you have only two IP addresses, and if you try to go out, you can go out. He has taken the, yeah, how come he took .10? There is already translation. He has taken 1. Let's say 2 goes out. He has taken dot. There are 2 IPs in the pool. Both are used up by one host.
Now, how do we try?
Now, if third one tries, say DMZ host, if tries, connection refused. This time, this is not refused because there is no rule. There is a rule. This is refused because there is no IP address available in the pool. There are 2 IPs, both are used. So in this case, you need some solution, and your solution is patting, port address translation. Okay. So what we'll do, I'll back up the pool. So how do I back up the pool? Right now this is my pool. I'll back up my pool by saying global outside 100 11, say 100. Do you read the message? Global IP address 100 1100 will be port address translated, which means PAT. pat.
This concept I
Okay, I'll show you now. This will be clear. Okay, just now we saw that this user wasn't able to go out for the reason being there were two IPs which were already used up. But now we have back up the pool. So now if we try, this can go out with IP 100.1.100. R4 if tries to go out, even this can go out again with the same IP. This is R3 and this is, but actually these are two different hosts. Check the firewall. To find out translations, check the firewall. Say show accelerate and see the translations. Your R3 which is 192.168.30.3 got translated to 100.1.1.1 but a different port number. Similarly, your host 192.168.40.4 again got translated to the same IP but a different port number.
For using the pat, which command will you use? Global outside one. This down one is also a command only, sir.
No, that's the information.
That is the information.
The down line, this line is the information.
By which command did you get that information?
Huh?
By which command did you get that information?
By typing the above command. When you type this command, you get the information. It's saying that this IP, which IP, is added to, which means this IP will be assigned to multiple users with different port numbers. So when R3 comes with address okay, he comes here. On the firewall he is assigned IP address but a different port number, which is, then R4 comes to the firewall with, he is assigned
What is the range of this?
same
port
IP
number, sir?
but different port number. Sorry,
What is the range of this port number?
port numbers. That's what I was telling you, no?
You should,
When you see the port number, you, how can you see? You can see by saying, I'll show you them.
Zero to 60. 65,000.
65535. You can use these many ports, and from these till 1024 are your well-known ports. Okay, done. So this is your, now see your pool. This is your pool. So here you are saying in normal situations give IP address from this pool. If the IP addresses get exhausted, that case start giving out IP addresses from, start using this IP with different port numbers. That's called your pattern. Same IP with different port
They
numbers.
have used NAT and PAT both.
Yeah. So we are using normal situation, we are using NAT, and if the IPs gets exhausted, we use switch to PAT. That's backup.
We use the both conditions.
Yeah, we use both conditions. Generally for inside users, we use patting.
Because if the company has only one IP address, then there is no use of NATing.
Yeah.
Only we should use packing. If there has more than one IP, then only we should use NATing and packing.
Done? Huh? This same thing you can do it using interface command as well. I've shown you here. So for this rule, what did we do? Could I write down here? For this we did global and then we said nat what? Two 550, isn't it? Then for dynamic padding, what did we do? Same thing with something additional, that's this, that we back up the pool by saying global outside one. We mention a single IP that will be used for padding. So similarly, when you do dynamic pad using interface command,
So if we don't use the range between these two days, then it automatically becomes the
padding, yeah, exactly. So when you do padding using interface command, it will be all same with a small change that instead of writing a IP address manually here, you will be typing keyword, which means use interface means use the IP address of interface. Which interface? Wherever you have created the. So you have created pool on outside interface. So here the IP address will be what? IP address of the outside interface, which is 192.1.20.10. So we'll try out this slide change. So I'll change this one. First of all, log out from everywhere. No translations. I'll change the rule. I'll remove this one and we'll try to do it using interface command. Same command, but instead of this manual IP, I'll type. You see you have two options here. Either you can give any IP address or you can type what? Interface. So I'll type. And you see it says outside interface address added to pad pool. So means now you will be doing padding using outside interface. So I'll go to R1 again. This time it was getting translated to things were getting padded to 100, 100. Now things will get padded to 192.1.20.10. Just go on watching this. You can go out. First IP from the pool, which is 100.1.1.1. Go to R2. Second IP from the pool. Go to R3. Now padding will start. There were two IPs, both are used. Now padding will start. You get padded to 192.1.20.10. R4 if tries to go out, gets padded to, oh shit, wait, let me just, this I think, okay fine, no problem. One asterisk shows you, so you are connected here, and again you got patted too. So if you go to firewall and say show accelerate, it will show the translations being done. Where? 192.20.10, which is the IP address of your outside interface. So everyone gets patted. See, everywhere you see same IP, but what? Different
numbers are different.
port. This is clear. How can you do different ways of doing dynamic patting? You can do dynamic patting using the manual IP. You can do the dynamic patting using interface command. When you do it using interface command, this is your command. Good. Okay. Next, your static translations. So these are your, this is what we have done, a review of what we have done. Okay, NAT control feature is here. Okay, now there is something known as NAT exemption. Okay, NAT, what is NAT exemption? If you see, 180 is a public network, right? So on R5, what I'll do is, there is no route for 180 network, so I'll add a route. I'll say IP route. If you want to go to network 180.110, please send your packet to whom? Firewall outside. Good. But you would see, even though this is a public IP address, he will not be able to go out. What's the reason? See, I'll try to do this. Telnet. Can't go out. Why?
You assigned the loop back address.
Wait. I need one more thing. Wait. I forgot to add route on firewall. Sure, our firewall also doesn't know anything about network. So I'll first fix routing, then we'll try this. Route was inside for network. And now oh shit, 1 minute. Okay, this worked for the reason that I have said on the firewall show running NAT. My NAT rule says from inside anybody can. 00 means any, so I'll just change this rule. I'll say no, and I'll say NAT only network anybody from network 10 and anybody from network and at this time if I try to go out, connection refuse, for the reason that though loopback 100 which is a public address, still it cannot go out for the reason that NAT control feature is enabled on the firewall, which says
Only the
NAT rule is required, right? When NAT control feature is enabled, it says NAT rule is required, and if you check NAT rule, there is no NAT rule for network 180. Is there any rule? This means 180 cannot go out. even though if it has public address, still he is not able to come. This is not good. So what we can do, one way is translate it, translate a public address into another public address, which is waste of IP address. If you're translating a public IP into again another public IP, you're wasting one public IP. So what you can do, exempt him from getting natted. Exempt him from getting natted. How? For that, first of all, first step should be create an access list. Say I'll call this no nat. Okay, then select the traffic who should not get translated. Who should not get translated? 180.111. So permit IP host 180 if it is going to anybody.
We are selecting only one particular host only.
Yeah, because we don't want him to get translate.
We can-
Because it's already a public address.
like this, we can allow any
Yeah,
network also.
but then make sure that's a public address. This is a public address, that's why I'm exempting it. Because public can directly go and come back. Then create a rule for him. Say nat inside. What will you use here? Pool 1, 2, 3. Which pool?
No pool.
No pool. Here you will use nat. Nat 0 is used to indicate no address translation. So we'll use 0. Which traffic? This traffic. This is selected by this ACL. So you can use access list by saying access list and give the name of the ACL. What's the name of the access list? No. The name of the ACL is. And now it was not working. Try it now. This works, and if you check the user, you will see it has come with its own real IP 180.111 real IP. So he doesn't get translated, he is coming with his own IP by bypassing the translation NAT control feature. Okay, this is NAT exemption. It's also known as NAT 0. It's also known as NAT 0.
We are not doing any kind of natting.
Yeah, we are just
So why do we
exempting.
public nat?
Huh?
So why do we public nat 0?
NAT 0, that's why it's called NAT 0, because you are using pool 0.
But it's not.
That's why it's called NAT.
But it's not natting.
Yes,
Although we do public natting.
there's just a name, NAT 0. Okay, that's NAT exemption. Your static NAT and PAT. Okay, for all your static translations, okay, for all your static translations you will use only one word. For dynamic we were using 2 words, global and NAT. For static you will use only one word, which is keyword static. Okay, how do you do this? 95% of the time what I am going to tell you will be true. This is how you will be implementing 95% of the time. Okay, and for that you need to say static, open the parenthesis, give a logical name of the interface from where you are going to start, or logical name of the interface. Again here you need to give logical name of the interface. Okay, then you need to give address, which will be a mapped IP, and then you need to give a real, or you can say so it will be something like this: static high, low, low, okay. Now let's try to understand this what I've written. Your static translations are always one-to-one translations. For one private address, one public address. It never changes. In dynamic translations, I showed you it was changing, isn't it? From the pool it was just picking whichever IP was free or available. In static translation it is not so. If 10.11.11 IP is assigned 100.1.1.1, it will always remain 100.1.1.1, whether it's using it or it's not using it.
It does not have any flush time.
No, because static doesn't have any flush time, because you are doing it manually. That's happening dynamically. That's why it has some time, that after this many time it will be flushed out from the table. Here you are manually doing it. So firewall understands that this is manually done. I am not supposed to remove this. Okay. Then your command will be, you will be using a static keyword. You will have to open a parenthesis. In the first place, you need to write down the logical name of the interface available at high security level.
Inside.
Could be inside, could be
DMZ.
in this. You need to write down logical name of the interface. In the second place, you need to write down the logical name of the interface available at low security level. So if you are on inside, this could be possibly either DMZ or okay. Then if you are in DMZ, this will be possibly, then finally close the okay. Then you need to write down mapped IP, that will be the IP address at the low interface. Okay, so suppose this is your firewall, you are in DMZ, this is your internet, your IP is say 192. So this becomes your what? This becomes your real IP. This is internet with IP address 192. With this IP, can you go to internet? With this private IP, can you go to internet? No. So what do you need to do? You need a translation. So suppose your map done static translation, wherein your static IP becomes so for internet 192.168.30.3 is nothing but
Translating single IP.
Isn't it? For internet 192.168.30.3, which is a private IP, is 100.1.1.1, which is a public IP.
It will be more costly. So who is using it?
No, servers, this is how it is done. Okay, so it will be like this. So if you want to reach 192.168.30.3, you will try to access 100.111. So 100.111 IP is where? It's on outside interface, which is interface at low security. So what is the IP address at lower security? That's your mapped IP. What is your mapped IP?
100.1.1.
An IP address at high security level. What is high security level? DMZ. Correct? DMZ is your high security. What is the IP address at DMZ?
192.168.
Your real IP, which is
192.168.
so it will always be static high, name of high security level interface, low, name of low security interface. Okay, then IP address at lower security level interface, which will be your mapped IP, and IP address at high security. So if you check the statement, it's right in the order. At your higher security, at your lower security. So correct? High, high, low. So here high is DMZ. So IP address at DMZ will come in the second place. And here low security level is outside, which is 0. So IP address at lower security level outside is. So always you fill the value this way. And here will come your static keyword. Static, high, low, low. When?
What is this 95?
95% of the time. There is a possibility that you will have something like this: static, low, high, high, low. So this is your remaining.
5%.
Very rarely used, but most of the time you will be using this: static, high, low, low. Okay, we'll try out this. We already have dynamic, so I'll remove this. Okay, I'll say no. I'll remove the dynamic translations for DMZ, because that's where you keep server, and you do static translation specially for the server, for the DMZ zones, because servers are something what you will be accessing from internet. You don't want server. Just think practically, how would you feel if Google is changing its IP address every day? Everyone will have to add new routes, isn't it? It will become a problem for everyone. DNS will have to update the entry. That's not practically possible, right? So servers always are with static IPs.
So the static IP is configured with firewall.
One reason why servers are with static IP is because you can access them. Their IP is not changing. If their IP is changing, you will not be able to access them, because today you know the IP, tomorrow you might not know the IP. That's why we do not do dynamic patting or dynamic NATing for servers, because we need to tell client that please, this is the IP address of my server. If you want to access me on this IP. And tomorrow if you are changing the IP, how will client access you? That's why you need to have what? Static translation. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, every time your translation will be same. You will be mapped to the same public IP. Your IPs will not change.
Like DMZ, I was the one user. Okay, like that only. All the inside the user.
You will have one-to-one mapping, and that will be like this. mapping will be
सब यूजर को एक एक आईपी एड्रेस मिलेगा ऐसा तो नहीं ना है।
no.
यहाँ पे आके हम कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं। हमको एक्सटर्नल यूजर है, हमको गूगल से जाके
You are on the internet.
आई एम इंटरनेट।
Okay, fine. Suppose for DMZ, for your server, which is 192.168.30.3 in this case, for him, suppose you are using dynamic patting and you have created a pool on the outside interface from which IP will be taken.
What I was thinking that I am DMZ.
Okay, so in this case what will happen? You will go to pool, pick one public IP, something like say 200, and you will go to internet, you will come back. This is what happens in dynamic NAT or dynamic if this is happening with your server will get this IP and this IP will be with him for next 3 hours. What after 3 hours? So for 3 hours, yes, client can access you on what? Suppose 200.111. What after 2 hours, 3 hours? Your IP will change to maybe 2 or maybe 10, anything. Then how will you start? So in dynamic translations, you can initiate the traffic, go out, come back. But from outside, nobody can access you. Understood? In dynamic translations, you can start, you can go to firewall, you can take a public IP and you can go to internet and come back. From internet, nobody can access you. But this is not what you want. What do you want? You want that the clients on the internet should come and access your server. For that, your IP should be some static IP. So right now your IP is a private IP, which is 192.168.30.3. What you do is you map this private IP to a single public IP, say 110. So if you want to reach your server, which is at this IP, you can reach him by accessing this IP. So internet, this fellow will send his packet to 110 and the packet will reach actually whom? The server. So any client on the internet, if he is accessing this IP, he will be able to reach your server. Okay, so this is your static translation where 192.168.30.3, which is a private IP, it's assigned a public IP what 100, and it will always remain same. So how this is going to work is like this. Where is it? Yeah, it's going to work like this. You have your firewall here, isn't it? You have R3 connected here and you have R5, isn't it? This interface here is your out and this interface here is your security level 0. Your rule will be static logical name here will be what? DMZ1, comma, logical name of low security level, which will be your mapped IP is 110 1.1 dot, and your real IP is what? So if this user is sending out packet to R5, the packet will be what? Source, agree, destination internet, which is in our case this packet will come to
Firewall.
firewall, will check the rule, and rule says static. So firewall will check which IP is available in the packet out of these two, this one or this one, which is available.
192. Sorry.
This IP is available in the packet, and is this is coming on which? Sorry, high to high, low to. Is this IP coming from DMZ1 interface? This is DMZ1 interface. Yes, it is coming to firewall through. So change this IP to. So a packet, this packet will be changed to.
110.
Sorry.
110.1.
Destination will remain same. And then this will packet will go to R5. Okay, when the packet will be returning from R5, what is going to happen is the packet will be, the source will be changed here. This is source, this is your destination. So you will be changing this.
Source will remain same and destination will be same.
So this will become, this will be a packet. So source will become 192.1.20.5, and destination will become, isn't it correct?
From
Destination will become source and source will become destination. This packet will be coming in this direction. What's the confusion? This is the packet going like this. So this is the packet what is coming back.
This is the 192.168.30.3.
30.3. This is the IP address of R3.
Yeah,
Source.
And this is the source and this is the destination of the R5.
Yes. Destination where packet is going.
It went to firewall.
Firewall.
Yeah.
Firewall translated it, changed the field in the packet.
Yeah.
This is changed. Your IP is changed to.
Yeah. Yeah, it is changed in public and destination is same.
Then this packet reaches R5.
Yeah.
And the packet, then this packet has to come back.
Yeah.
So the returning packet will be this. What's the confusion?
So R5 will be the destination.
Why R5 will be destination?
So R5 will be the source
Yes.
and the destination will be the.
Whatever is source in the packet will become destination. So this packet will come back. When this packet comes back, it will come back where? It will come back on this interface of the firewall.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Correct? At this moment, firewall will check again this rule. Which IP is present in the packet? This one or this one? Which one is present?
This one.
This IP is present.
Yeah.
And is the packet coming on outside interface? Yes. So this IP here will be changed, and your packet will be changed to.
Yeah.
Okay, so your packet will become this. This will remain same. but this will be changed to the corresponding IP, which is this. So this will become 30 dot, and this, who is 30.3? This is the destination. Who is 30.3? Packet will be delivered to.
Net
Fine.
is working. Net is working.
Did not check me.
Now you are sharing.
Huh?
Now you are sharing.
Wi-Fi.
On that one.
Done.
Then there is one more Wi-Fi at WLAN.
It's coming. Okay, fine. So you understood, right, how the rule is used by the firewall? Whichever IP is present in the packet, see and change its corresponding IP, change it. So if you find this is present, change it to this. If you find this is present, change it to. Okay, we'll try this. Static in sorry, DMZ1 outside, and what we have taken it 110, right? For done. You see, even if I clear the table, this entry will still remain there. Why? Just check, this entry is a static one, what we have added now. Only dynamic will be cleared, not static. So that's why this entry is still existing. How do you verify this? Go to R3. This is 30.3, isn't it? I need to add route here, IP route 110. You do it n numbers of time. You would get the same result, because it's what? Static. Okay, but this is not the end of the story, for the reason that when you're doing this, where is it? Okay, fine. Your whole objective is what? That people on the internet should be able to access your server. See, this will never happen that Google will send you a page. Take, I'm Google server, take my page. Google, Gmail. This will never happen. What happens is, when you open up your PC, when you open up the browser, your browser has some default home page. And for that home page, a DNS request is sent on the internet. And for that DNS request, the corresponding IP is returned to you, and then you go and access that IP. That's how you reach the server. So it's not the server who sends you the page. Take my page, google.com page, Yahoo page. You make the request, you get the response. So your aim is that clients on the internet should be able to come and access you. So the traffic what will be coming to you will be coming in this direction, which will be from, which is not allowed. So how do you give the access?
No.
Huh?
No.
How do you give the access? You need to open up hole on the firewall. So go create an access list. Say DMZ permit TCP, anybody from internet coming to my server, 110.1.1. Let's try it using 23. Telnet access group DMZ in interface. This is your access list, wherein you are allowing TCP connection coming from any host on the internet to your server. This is your server, with public IP address, isn't it? Private IP address is which is translated to, so people will be accessing it on public address, not on the private. So that's why you are opening a hole for this public address on this particular port. If it is a web server, you would say 80 or 443, whatever it is. If it is a mail server, 25, and so on. FTP server, 21. And then finally apply this on interface in incoming direction. So now if you go to R5, which is ISP or the internet, and if you try to the private, this will not work, but because ISP doesn't have route for any of the private networks. So what you can do is you can try it on the corresponding public address. You get open is good enough of a test to tell you that you can reach. Anyway, you can go there, you can set the line we divide for verification.
Actually, because we were configuring the servers, we were on the server side, we were not on the
User side, yeah.
Users are on the internet.
Internet side. So you need to give the access from there to in. Alright. This is what?
Static.
This is static NAT. Okay. Now usually what,
Yeah, that is only what I was saying.
in case of static patching, what you will do is you will take one public IP, which is, say, this is the IP which belongs to me. What I'm going to do is my this server and my this server, okay, both for internet they are same server, same IP, but suppose this is my email server and this is my, say, web server. IP address is same, ports are different. So if the client on the internet says 110 1.1.150, and if it says access this IP on port number, say, 25, he will come and reach my email server. At the same time, if he says port 80, he would end up reaching my, I'm not using two different IPs, I'm using same IP, but I'm using two different port numbers. This is called static patching. Fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to translate them, and what I am going to open up two ACL entries on the firewall saying that if the packet is coming from anybody on the internet and it's coming to my server, this port, let him come in. Similarly, if the IP address is this and the port number is 80, let him come in. So 81 will come to web server, 25 will go to email server. Command is same, concept is same, working is a bit different with small changes. Okay, so this is already there, show running. One rule is already there, okay, but I need to remove this. So what I'll do is clear configure static, show running static. There is no static rule. I'll add static DMZ1 to outside protocol TCP mapped address. What is the mapped address? It's 110.1.1.150. What's a mapped port? what's the MAC port? So say 2200.
How can we take this now?
Any number you can take, any free number. Just see that port is not being used. Even if it is being used, it's okay. That port will not be used on this IP. So your port number plus your IP address makes a combination. 2200 port might be running on some different IP. It's possible, but there won't be any conflict because your IP plus port number makes a combination. Because every PC has same 0 to 65535 ports, but that port will be on a particular PC. Similarly, same ports will be on a separate PC, so there won't be any conflict. Okay, and then you need to give your real IP, which is DMZ1 is 192.168.30.3, and the real port set 23. We'll try to telnet. Similarly, for DMZ2, same IP, but the number will be different. I'll say 3300, and this time it will be 40.4. What I need to do is show running access list. I'll need to change this ACL.
You give the same port numbers on this server.
Where?
23.
Those are real, no? This 23 is of 40.4 and this 23 is of 30.3. Two different devices. Clear configure access list. I'll create again access list, say DMZs, permit TCP any to my host 110.1.1.150 on port number 2200 or port number 3300. I think it's applied. No, it's not. Access group DMZ in interface outside. Show running access list. You have two ACLs. How do you verify? Go to R5, which is internet. Say telnet what 110.1.1.150 on port number 2200. This would take you to DMZ1 R3 because 192.168.30.3 is mapped to this. Better I'll set line VTY so you can see this.
Got it, so they're already open it set and it's working.
Yes, still one. So this would take you to R3, which is a web server.
No, users will never telnet to the service.
I know user will never telnet, but how can I show you this? Tell me.
You can't have a web server here and
You can't cannot deploy a web server here or an email server for you, right? But I can show you this by making my router as a telnet server. That way we can verify. If it is a web server, what will you do? What will you get? Not telnet, you will get a web page. That's the only difference. Do you think the working will change? Or do you think the process will change? Or deployment will change? Okay, so if you do access same IP on a different port, this would take you to same IP is being used, but different ports are used to redirect your traffic to different servers. Okay, and the mappings, if you see on the firewall, mappings are static mappings, but this time it's saying you can see your access list being hit. This is your static PAT. You're using same IP. You're using same IP
On the base of what?
for two different servers, but two different
What?
ports. Fine.